welcome everybody to podcast number 8. We have CavemanDave as our special guest today, and Cabbage is taking over for full-time spot for your plop. So,
What's up?
big shout out to
Yo.
Cab for filling in, man. Thank you for joining us yet again, Cab.
So good.
Um, who wants to kick it off? Should we start off with I don't know, trials at GDQ? I've been talking about this a lot, honestly, in my streams, and I think it's a really great topic that we can kick it off with because I don't know who's been watching it for like at least maybe a couple years. Like, is GDQ a thing that you guys commonly watch?
I don't think I've only watched it once. I think
Yeah.
that was when the trials thing was on, like way back when.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I never watched it.
Definitely tune in, but I usually only tune in for stuff that I actually want to see.
Yeah.
I always check the schedule.
I always see highlights on YouTube of the streams, but I haven't really caught them usually.
Yeah, it's something that I've really got into over the past couple of years, I would say, and I think their goal, the type of charity event that they have associated with it, is just so amazing that they do that. Doctors Without Borders, they do a lot of Cancer Research Foundation, a ton of different stuff, and just the environment and the way that I don't know, everybody comes together to enjoy something that we've been playing games since who knows when, since we came out of the womb with a Game Boy in our hands or whatever. Like, it's I don't know, it's something that I want to see the Trials community get back into. I know that there was some controversy with the last time that there was a Trials at GDQ, and it was because they played they played a lot of user created stuff, and it was, I don't know, it wasn't the format that like you would typically see. Like, so I recently saw a post. It was like a 2-year-old post, and this was like, it was regarding what would it be like if there was a 4-person like race instead of just having one person up there either doing like a ninja percent run is another idea that could be really cool. 100% gold medal playthrough, whatever. We'd make it. It'd be a long playthrough if you did it normally, I think, for career. But I think a tandem percent run would be really funny too. Have a little bit of different co-op included in with it. But what was you guys' thoughts on the last GDQ event? Anybody have?
Are you talking about Trials specifically?
Yeah, for Trials specifically.
See, in my opinion, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. So, you know how you said that they played a lot of like UGC tracks? I think that was a mistake, honestly, because what looks impressive to us as like players of Trials doesn't necessarily translate to like the wider audience. So like I remember them playing like a Mario track, and like to us that looks impressive, but to them or like to everyone else it kind of just looks like a shitty Mario track with like a bike on it.
Yeah, for sure.
What I did remember is when they did like a backflip or something, like the crowd had gone mental.
Yeah, every flip. Hang on, I'll move my mic a bit closer. So.
Oh, really quickly, Anaerobic Monkey, thank you for the host. Welcome everybody. We're having a little discussion for the Trials Talk podcast. Thanks for joining.
Good timing.
Yeah, really good. We just started it up. But keep going, guys. Please.
Who is talking?
Cabbage.
Yeah. You got any more? I don't know if you.
No, but I just think I would definitely like to see a ninja percent. I think it's short enough to be like not too long, and it's impressive enough to like be impressive.
Maybe.
Also, I'd like to see some of the top ninjas there as well. Do you know what I mean? Like with the hardest type of tracks.
RJ, I want you to do a Ninja Percent, and I want to be there commentating with you at GDQ.
Yeah.
That's what I would want.
I would like to see
a
that.
lot.
RJ or Scott do a Ninja Percent.
Yeah, and having like Scott
both
there.
Both of them doing a race.
Yeah, a race.
Oh, I'll crush Scott.
He's sick.
Clap. Wouldn't even be a race, dude.
But yeah, I think it got a lot of heat last time as well because it was showcase and not an actual speedrun. I think people would enjoy it a lot more if there was like sort of a goal.
Didn't someone have a weird T-shirt on?
Yeah, and we talked about Bosho's had a weird T-shirt on. You know, what was it? That was the little girl who ended up getting like killed or something, kidnapped and killed. And it was like he was obsessed with whatever that story was, and he had a shirt, like kind of I guess in memorial to it, but it was like he had it so it was like a meme basically, and it was like he had to switch his shirt before he attempted the thing.
GT4 would be too nervous anaerobic for a Ninja Percent race against me in person. I'd just ego him, and he would just.
And
how tall is GT4? Like 4 foot.
What? Who said that?
He is GT Cat, so he must be quite small.
I thought it was like real small. I don't know.
I think you're thinking about the picture of him that was floating about when he was like a kid.
I don't know. Would you guys?
Still as a kid, but you know what I mean.
Didn't he pass a track at like when he was 10 and he started crying? Wasn't it Mabarosi?
Mabarosi, I heard.
Back in the day, like
he had passion. That was some passion right there. Hell yeah, I cry for trials. I cried when I got Makalu. Legitimately.
Man, he must have worked hard on that track, like to have that much emotion. The only emotion I get from trials is pure anger.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Ben, to answer your question, that clip we're gonna talk about a little bit later on. But yes, it did give me an increase in followers. It's been like slowly trickling in. That Reddit post, pretty nuts. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, it will certainly help me a little bit. Going back to GDQ though, yeah, I think I've seen a lot of. I love watching the 4-person races. I don't know when they started doing those, but I do thoroughly enjoy them. Like whatever game it is, I think watching other, techniques that people have going about Mario, going about Super Metroid. I think I've seen like Donkey Kong Country, stuff like that. Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see 4-person race and have commentary, constantly talking about like certain levels that are way more difficult to hit like optimal runs to get like insane speedrun times on, and like if they're consistently trying to go for like diamond times on a race too, that'd be pretty crazy as well.
Yeah, I think trials would be a lot better received at GDQ if it was an actual race or at least a speedrun than just a showcase.
Yeah, because trials, it's hard to like see skill in trials if you haven't picked it up yourself. Yeah. Like very difficult. You don't see why it's hard or why it's entertaining if you haven't done it yourself, which isn't like a lot of games. Like shooters, for example.
So someone needs to set it up, make it happen.
Yeah.
Get some ninjas there.
Yeah, we have to make it. We have to make it so before the event happens, we sit everybody down and have them play an extreme track and show them how hard it is. Before
everyone in the audience.
Yeah, everybody in the audience has to play it for a second.
Where did he stream from? Did he stream from like a certain state in America?
They constantly change it around. They usually have a spot over in, I don't know, they go to California. Pretty sure they go to like Florida. They have a lot of different areas. I'm not sure all the event areas. And then they have them in Europe. They're like everywhere. But yeah, I think they're constantly. I really want to go to like either a GDQ event or I want to go to like a TwitchCon because they actually ended up having GDQ at TwitchCon. I think that was the end of the fall last year. And it was like kind of a split event, which is kind of cool. Another thing that we've talked about a lot is task running in the Trials community, and just how difficult it would be to have perfect inputs. Or I would say that I think the best way would have to do it on the arrow key, right? Would that be the most optimal way?
But no,
each input for it.
Well, that's the thing. You see, are you talking about a task run where you get the best result?
Yeah, just like trying to
Then you definitely can't use just the arrow keys.
You'd have to code it in, and I know RJ was working on that quite a bit.
Yeah.
How are your results with doing the Odious CP?
All I know is if anybody wanted to seriously task like a full track that was like difficult, or like let's say odious level where no one is capable of passing it like legit, if you do it the way I did it, I think it's impossible, or it would take way too much time to get through, because I spent like at least like 10 hours just doing that one CP.
Mm-hmm.
And just I spent multiple hours just trying to get up the one pillar near the end, and I could not do it. So some things are limited, at least the way I did it. I don't think I could have done it. I got close, but
I know
don't know.
Nugget did a track like back in Fusion where it was like a task run. I think it was like
like
Ninja
the
Level
back and
2.
front wheel one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
remember.
didn't he? Well, actually, I don't know for sure, because I know he's done like things close to that. I don't know if we're talking about the same thing, but
Yeah.
the way he did it was he like built around like
Yeah,
the
he built around how the
like
bike reacted.
yeah, instead
right,
of
okay.
building for the track.
Build the logic on top of an existing track.
Okay, so yeah, it was different.
Very different, yeah.
But it doesn't really impress me. Like, do you know what I mean? Like a task run, it's like,
I mean,
whatever.
it's impressive to see. I do like watching them, but I just think there's too many variables on trials that you wouldn't be able to do it perfectly.
One thing I was like having trouble with is I think I maybe could have got up the pillar I was stuck on if I had set up the thing way before in the task, like differently. But because of the way I set it up, I had to just go with what I had. Otherwise, I would have lost like hours of progress. And so.
So do you understand like the logic in the editor, RJ?
Yeah. Well, not all of it, but I'm decent with logic in the editor.
Mildly decent.
It doesn't work that well with the bike and it's not easy to test.
Yeah, you gotta wait to test every time, which is super annoying.
You gotta you actually have to test the track yourself instead of just pressing like physics on or whatever. But like the bike doesn't move with the gas events or whatever.
All jokes aside, though, Kat, brought up section tick. This guy legitimately was able to slow the game down like 50%. Not really sure how, but that's another possibility, I guess. It's just like being able to slow down time on it to get a perfect run and just run it regular speed after you do that. I guess that could be a strategy.
Stop using the term perfect run, because a perfect run on trials isn't possible, I don't think. I mean, it's theoretically possible, but it's not realistically possible.
Yeah. I just don't know a whole lot
some tracks,
pass in general.
There's just some like speedrunning tracks where you think, yeah, that's like a perfect run.
Yeah, but looking perfect and actually being perfect are two very different things.
What do you mean, like squeezing every last drop of time?
Yeah, like literally the fastest time that you could possibly get from the track.
Yeah.
That would be hard to like calculate.
That's what I mean. There's way too many variables per frame. Like if you think about how many different trigger settings there are that you could have.
Yeah.
And like each the angle positions for the rider.
But what if
all the little just time savers and stuff and flips and all that type of stuff?
It's just so impressive to watch these events. The last one I saw was Celeste, and I don't know, I think they beat the game in like 30 minutes or something like that, and we're usually
task run on Celeste?
Yeah, they did a task run on Celeste, and it's one of the most impressive things I've seen. Like they're able to just slingshot themselves just across levels constantly.
Celeste is such a good game.
Because of, I don't know what the mechanic was, but like you can do like a double jump, and if you jump at the same time, like the exact frame you hit the ground, you can just like catapult yourself, and they just constantly would do that throughout the.
Is it like watching? Is it someone coding it and then watching them like
For the task run?
beat the game with the code? Is that what a task run is?
Well, they have the task run. It's like they have this program
Is it a
basically.
coded run?
Yeah, it's coded, and then they are able to just play it in front of the audience live.
What? So they just play the program and then you watch it?
Yeah, yeah, and they
human.
commentate and they talk about kind of the specific techniques that are involved to like hit these exact types of maneuvers. Really, really tough. And then they usually have like a little controller showing what the inputs would be like if you were, a human being that could actually hit the buttons that fast. But I don't think it's possible.
That would be interesting to see on trials. Watching the stick wobble about.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I wish I could talk about TAS more. I wish I was actually. I wish I was a part of the community, and actually knew like what TAS runs. I don't know how do you even begin on TAS runs is something I'm just really interested in.
Yeah, I haven't got a clue because I can't code any. Like, I haven't even got a clue about code or anything.
Yeah, I'll try to find some articles and post it to like the Discord or something about it.
I know it might interest you, but it doesn't really interest me, that type of stuff. Like, I'd rather see a human being do it, if you know what I mean. I get it from the standpoint of like programming it and
totally
making it a perfect run, but if like it's your zero faulted Wraith, it'd be like, oh great. But watching an actual human being like beat Wraith is totally different.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. Dave, how about some questions for you, man? Since we got you on here. So, when did you like really start building tracks? Because if you guys don't know Dave already, he is a madman, and he's already made like what 28, 29 tracks, or is it more on Rise?
I was gonna ask, how many have you released on Ryzen so far?
I think it's like 15 or more. But like
the
easy version, there's a back wheel version, there's like plus CP version, so I don't really see them as like full tracks, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Yeah. I feel you on that.
Count easy versions.
Yeah, I'd count easy versions.
Yeah.
My favorite track I've built so far is Tech Savvy. From best looking track.
That was one of your first ones, wasn't it?
Yeah. I feel like I played that even. I haven't played like any tracks in Track Central.
Yeah, you beat it, RJ. It's quite a long track.
Zach's got a question in the chat for you, Dave.
Sure.
What's he got?
I can't.
I'll read it off. No shots intended. Question for Dave regarding track building. Why quantity over quality?
I've got something to say about this after Dave's finished.
When I get into the editor, it's like I haven't. To me, if I'm overthinking something, it just annoys me. Do you know what I mean? I don't have a plan for a track. I haven't got that type of ability. So when I get into the track editor, the editor, I just start to build, and whatever comes out, comes out. Like doing decoration for me is tedious, man. Like even that Tech Savvy track, it was like, oh, when's this ever gonna end? Like that's what it feels like. Like I just like building driving lines, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's what it's.
That's fair enough. You see, the way I look at it is like, if everyone, like, okay, like I'd spend a lot of time on like a single track, and I'm glad that there isn't that many people kind of who do that, because
same
Track Central probably wouldn't survive if each builder only released like one track a month, because there isn't that many like builders, or like ninjas at least. There's maybe like 30.
And the thing with like Zach was like he has like outside abilities that like complement the editor like 100% of his like skills.
That's the thing. Like, if you're a creative person, then it's quite easy to throw together some like sick looking deco.
Oh yeah, but like me to create something like him, man, like it would just fry my brain. I can only do so much decoration. Like I'm building a hill climb now, what I'm gonna decorate like really nice, but it still won't look as good as any of his tracks.
I think Zach should have like an architecture class for trials.
I definitely think there's a place for each type of builder, and there's definitely a place for someone who pumps out like a lot of tracks. Because
as long as the tracks look neat, do you know what I mean? As long as they look, I call them clean ninjas, like where they just look nice and they don't like.
It's not like floating deco or just like Uber amps or some
A
shit.
theme or something, do you know what I mean? Like it's, even if it's like Primal Urge, like I
Yeah.
only built that track because of the weird looking like wavy effect
I
on
love the
the
look of that
triangle
one.
shapes.
It's really deceptive when you're trying to run through it.
Yeah, Blood Dragon. If you go into that's one of the best new like objects in the editor, like that DLC. Loads of sick stuff in there.
Yeah.
Hella sick. I made a trap, but that's a bit of a full retard. That's a full.
That was yeah. You never go full retard on track building, Dave. You've known that.
No.
Yeah, I agree with what Zach says in the chat. But the way I look at it is like you've got sort of like a really good track and a fun track are like two different things. So like anything can be fun as long as the line's good, but like a really good track has to have the line and the deco.
Yeah, it's got to be a balance.
But there's nothing wrong with fun track because you're still getting enjoyment out of playing them. They're just not like the greats, you know.
Like this is how I see it. If you had a track with a driving line with floating obstacles and that was it, but if that track had great decoration, like it makes you want to go back to it. Like sometimes.
Exactly, yeah. It's more memorable if it's decorated, but it doesn't mean you can't have fun if there's no deco.
But like, I stay away from like if the track looks clean and at least they put effort into it.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about. But I get it. Like some people like you, Cabbage, you can just sit there and like.
That's the thing. It's about patience, isn't it? Like, I'm in no
different.
hurry to get shit done, really. Like, so.
Yeah.
Just mull over the track a few hundred times.
That's what I spend. I spend more time just looking at what I've already done instead of actually doing more.
But it's a time thing as well, like, because like you can put like 50 hours into a track and then you can put 5 hours into another one, and the 5 hour track can do way better than like your 50-hour track. Do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I want people to play the tracks that I make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, that's the
like
thing.
Getting the proper feedback,
different
more motivation.
Mindset. I've sort of built tracks for me. Like
same.
No offense to like everyone else, but I honestly don't care if people like it or don't. Like I build it just because that's what I enjoy doing. You know.
That's what I built Humdrum for, like because I thought it was just a weird track that I never really build weird tracks like that, but
yeah,
it turned out a bit stupidly hard.
That's the thing. Like people won't play it if it's not their thing, but that's fine. You know, as long as you sort of had fun building it, and yeah.
I just found a new like technique. I was building a track, and you can do like steps going down the wall. So you start off on a Spider-Man, and you can do like the steps going down it. Weird.
I did something on a magnet. What was it, on Liberty Station, I think, or I forget which one it was. There's steps like right behind you at the beginning of it, and apparently you can go up them like pretty decently. It takes a little bit of control to like sort yourself out, but like these really short compact steps, you can back wheel climb it backwards pretty well. I thought that was interesting.
The one I'm on about is where you start off from a Spider-Man, like you go down the wall.
Yeah.
And then like you do steps like that. You couldn't do that in Fusion, but you can do it in this game.
Yeah, it's insane. the magnet effect. That wheel is so sticky for it. It's crazy what we're gonna be able to do. But like, Dave, where do you come up with a lot of the ideas for obstacles? I'm really interested to hear.
That's even easy. Like that to me is the easiest part of the game. I just bish bash bosh. There, it's done. Like honestly, it's so easy. Just take a bat wheel track. You can give me like one Uber ramp, and you can make a whole track out of that. Like it's. I don't like. I don't like mull over obstacles that much. Like I just get down to business. That's my philosophy when it's like if I overthink stuff, I don't know, it comes out worse most of the time. But if I just get down to business and do what I do,
I like to like I'm like you, Dave. I like to go into the editor with usually I have like an idea of what I want to get accomplished, but it won't like be a whole track. It'll just be something fun I can play with, and then I'll build hopefully a whole line and maybe some deco that would be enough for a track to be released for my standards or for people to play, and then I'll release that. Or that's how I built most of my tracks early on. But if I spent too much time on one track, some tracks it wouldn't be enjoyable anymore to build. So, but I've had some in the past, like Perpetual Evil, I enjoyed throughout, even though that took me ages to build.
That's definitely your best track. It's really good looking.
Dave, when
good
did
advice, though.
Yeah, Dave, when?
If you're not having fun, then release it.
Yeah, I have a tough time just like keeping up with. I don't know. Is it important to? I mean, I think this is important to consistently be building like almost every day to keep perfecting. Where all the objects.
I don't really think. When it comes to all the objects, like you have to be in the editor a lot just to memorize.
Yeah, I gotta spend more time.
That's the most time-consuming thing is going through because just say you want a barrel, you have to go into the menu, and it can be like 10 steps till you get to that barrel.
Yeah.
So like every little thing like that to streamline building on console, you should always get like I've been getting like all the stuff for the driver line.
Do you favorite
out onto the track?
Do you favorite a lot of stuff?
Group it all together in like a big clunk.
Yeah.
So you've got, like,
they should categorize things together, like all the barrels.
I can see a better filter for sure.
Done it the wrong way,
stuff.
kind of.
Yeah.
They've categorized
PC,
by game. That's
yeah.
not really the best way to do it.
Definitely not.
Yeah, but how did you guys get comfortable with it? Like, how long did it take you guys to get really comfortable with the editor?
In Fusion, I know where every single thing is in Fusion, but in like this new one, I'm still like, I know where a lot of it is now, but I'm still looking for that little. I don't know if Murdoch made that vending machine. It's like a green vending machine, but I cannot find that in the editor. So it must be a custom thing you made.
If you're on PC, you could check it out. It's actually really easy to copy files over on PC without a tool.
Also, I saw in a ninja track at the end of it, there was like a squirrel statue, and it looked like a proper squirrel, like it was a proper.
Yeah, there's a squirrel statue in the dev objects.
Oh, that's annoying because in Fusion we was on PS4 we never got them capsules. Do you know at the end we never got them? That was a bit annoying.
They're on Fusion as well, but I'm pretty sure they're still dev objects. For some reason, I'm not sure why. I don't really see the point of it, but
that guy used them in that Way of the Penguin, in that weird penguin track.
Is that the one with like piles of them? Or like
it's like in a factory. Like I forgot.
Oh, Zach. I got something to say about the camera screen. It's not as good as it first looks. To be completely honest, it doesn't actually let you connect it to a camera source. It just uses the main camera, so you can't use it for like super cool stuff. It's actually pretty boring, to be honest.
Also, in the editor, there's 2 cameras now. What's that other one for?
One of them's a backup camera. It's like a second camera that you can like switch to for like different shots. They use it in quite a few of the career tracks for like cinematic effect, I guess.
Yeah, I saw that in the like it was either in the background, kind of on like a billboard, and kind of out in front, like somebody, like later down the track they could still watch what's going on. You see all the people just standing in place.
But it doesn't let you connect it to a different camera to the one that's being used, which is kind of sad. Because I thought it could have been a really good feature if they let you do that.
It'd be really trippy if you could like access that screen and have like kind of that filter, like you're playing on a TV instead of like actually riding through the course.
What are you on about
filters?
Are you on about where like that skate track where like you can see the lap and it shows you like you're moving?
There's a lot of tracks that use it, but Yeah, it looked like it could have been a cooler feature than it actually was. Not that it matters because it's dev only, but it's not actually.
Why did he only have dev only stuff? Is it? But does it like mess around, mess with like the performance or something?
I don't know, like some dev objects, kind of like something like that. I can understand why maybe they'd want it a dev object, but like squirrel statues and shit, I think they're just doing it because they don't want every track to have what they consider like a special object in their career tracks. Which it's kind of annoying, but like you
It's
can sort of
annoying.
understand.
Get all the stuff when you pay for it.
Yeah.
Dave, what are your initial
PC
thoughts?
version, then you can get all the stuff.
What are your initial thoughts on Rising, though, man? What do you think about it?
Oh man, do you want to like okay? The editor, why like basic bugs like the save bug? Why is that even a thing? Like that type of stuff really annoys me. Like with all the bugs, like the game looks really good. It's fantastic. The aesthetics look really good, but these stupid bugs, like honestly, it's like difficult.
So the trick is for when you're saving or when you're trying to publish a track, you have to save it as a noob before you publish it, right? So the difficulty will be set correctly.
Yeah, you saved it. So you do all the settings, you do everything on the track, go into the settings, put what difficulty, what type of game, and then you save it as new. So you save it as new, like just say you called it, I don't know, concrete. Save it as new as concrete.
Quality name.
Share it straight away. And the same, like the save files as well. You have to so your tracks don't disappear. You have to save the save as new every single time.
And I just have one save and just don't have anything else. That's how I was building before I gave up on the game.
Yeah, like I've got about 100 saves of all different types of because I name them like if I put A in like I don't know like application or but like just weird names that like make no sense, and now I've got like literally about.
So you don't even give them good names so that you can actually find out.
And then it just gets lost.
No, like
way too many
random names, like
way too many passwords. Can't keep track of all these fucking things anymore.
But yeah, like that's a bit annoying with that. Like, come on, like it's the editor. If you save a track, you want it to be there. Like that's the most basic, fundamental thing about the editor. How is that? And the other bug as well. What's annoying? Like the upload bug. Like did they even
what bug's that? You see,
well,
that's
like,
the thing. Like bugs are unavoidable, but then bugs like this, which are so easy to like make happen, it makes you wonder how it was released with that bug.
Especially the save file one. That is so like it's who was testing that stuff?
That's the thing. It makes you wonder. It does make you wonder what's going on.
So that's one of the negatives. Let's talk about the positives in your mind, Dave. Like, what is some of its biggest aspects?
I'll just say the negative, like the magnet man. Like to change like I don't know if it was because of tire glitches that they did all this, but to change the game that much because of tire glitches they weren't that much of an issue.
You see, that's the way I feel about it. I feel like there are still issues with like landing and stuff. So like nothing's changed.
Bottoming out.
But like they've made the bike sort of, in my opinion, obviously, they've made the bike worse to try and combat something that's still an issue anyway, just in a different way.
Yeah, I still see it happen
now,
anyways.
When you land on the ground, your front wheel starts to like wobble about, and it like slows you right down, you know?
Also,
like, that to me is a tire glitch. Or
you ping off ramps as well, like when you hit a ramp and you try and re-grip it again because you get a little bit of height, it just sometimes just pings you off. I was trying to get a zero fault run on Todd's first track, and pinging off the ramps. It got so frustrating. I ended up quitting.
But I don't.
Yeah.
I still enjoy how hard you make tracks, though, Dave, and getting used to.
Same.
So this is something I talked about with my black belt video, and I just want to restate it that I will always enjoy the Trials game because of user created stuff being extremely hard and pushing my abilities beyond what I think is possible. That's still in this game. Now bitching and moaning about the bike is one thing that it's really starting to get on my nerves because I just want people to get used to it. and I think it's gonna. I mean, it's gonna take a little bit more time. I know that the front wheel is definitely not as capable, but like being able to adapt and having a challenging game, like that's the point behind like Trials
This game
for me.
is more of a technical game. Like it's like basically technical like hill climbs and just technical tracks.
Yeah,
What
definitely.
this game is more like catered to. Like the back wheel stuff is just it gets highly frustrating because of the magnet.
I've got a question for you, Doughnut.
Yeah.
In the notes, you've got the challenge of getting used to a new bike, yeah? And like what you just said about getting used to a new bike.
Mm.
How long do you think it takes roughly to get used to a new bike?
Dude, I don't know. It seemed like
like to get decent at it, not like obviously to get like as good. Like you can never really top out in skill. I don't know. I mean, you probably can, but like to get like good enough to do 4s and 5s or whatever. For you, as someone who can already do them in Fusion.
And
the reason I ask is because I know there's a lot of like negativity around the game, and
yeah,
I know
definitely.
that you said that you're sort of sick of hearing about it, but shit, what was I going to say? I had a point here.
I think I get where you're going. It's hard to say for me because I hold myself at like the highest standard. I want to keep pushing myself, and I don't know when I got really used to the Pit Viper back on Fusion. I can't really say. I think when I finally was able to pass a couple of level 5s in one day, I was like, okay, I think I'm getting somewhere with like understanding the physics and this game a lot more.
Okay, so here's what I was going to say. A lot of people have been saying that if they had released Ryzen with the Fusion physics as the game, people wouldn't like the game as much. But realistically, you would only not like the game as much for like a month until you were used to the new bike. And then it's just a case of playing trials.
Mm-hmm.
So, was it worth the month of getting used to a new bike to essentially get a worse bike?
Well,
is it worth it?
I mean, in some aspects, the bike is worse. I think that it's going back to the technical and climbing stuff, though, is like this bike is so much more capable.
Yeah, but capable is not necessarily a good thing. Having the ability to infinitely climb a wall,
yeah,
might seem cool for like 5 minutes, but it's not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
The higher level stuff, it's definitely put a cap on the higher level stuff, like in some instances. But once you get used to the bike, like lower level speed runs, like Ninja level 1 to 3, like I think that's what this bike's made for mostly. Like, but you could say like GT4 beat Baron, but like I don't know, like the super high level stuff is like it's definitely put a cap on it in my opinion.
Same.
I also have another point to make on this topic. Also in the notes, you've got how you don't like people bitching about the bike physics because it's annoying. But in here you say, get used to it or play a different Trials game, okay? See, I've seen a lot of people like who don't like hearing the negative talk.
Yeah,
so
it's just too much negativity, like, man. I'm just sick of it.
What people sort of say as like a comment, like in response to the negativity, like, "Oh, go back to Fusion," and I think that's like actually quite insulting because if you like, let's be honest, we all like love Trials, yeah.
Yeah, but if you're not liking the game, go back to the game that you like.
No, but you see, that's the thing. That's not an option. It's not an option. You can say that, but
how's that not an option?
The game's like 5
what do you
years
mean?
old. I mean, it's technically an option, but it's not realistically an option. You're not going to go back to Fusion and have the type of fun that you wanted to have with a new game.
Because nobody's building new stuff on there.
To tell people that they aren't allowed to voice their sort of concerns about the franchise that they love. Let's be honest, we all love Trials.
But are they going to be changing the physics of the bike? And I think the answer is no. So
it's not
the thing is about the negativity is though, like it becomes like once you've heard it, you've heard it. Do you know what I mean? And people just keep repeating.
Exactly.
And
that's what I'm getting.
It gets old. That's what gets annoying.
I still think people are allowed to.
Oh yeah, I don't mind it. Like, but like there was a Blix stream where everyone was just going off there, and it was like I don't know. I ended up leaving the stream.
At the end of the day, yeah, if like there are a lot of people who don't like the bike, and if you don't voice your opinion, nothing's gonna happen. You know, change only happens when you talk about it. So if you don't like something and you want it fixed, the only way to get that fix is to talk about it until it gets fixed. Like,
I think
people might not like hearing it,
I
but
think
that's
one
how,
bug
that's how
report.
change happens.
If I could
I
cut
don't
in,
see the bike changing that much, to be honest.
Nah,
Yeah.
you see, that's the thing. No one wants the bike to change.
if
We
you
just
could
want a
put
different
one
bike
report
at
in
this point.
talking about, like, one thing that I would say is, so when you're trying to make like a back wheel only track, there's a big issue with like the hitbox on the front tire. Like, it doesn't even look like it gets close to hitting the wall, and yet you still fail all the
Objects have
time.
much bigger hitboxes,
Yeah,
in
it
my
seems
opinion.
like the object, it's got an
It
invisible
does. It's
hitbox.
when you increase the size of an obstacle, like some of the obstacles or platforms, they have like
the
it's like
collision doesn't scale with the
it's like
the
an
visible.
invisible.
Yeah.
It's an invisible like bit to it. It's on one of my tracks on main event on that track. You're on
Yeah.
the end of CP4.
I remember talking
That's
about that.
exactly what. Like at the time, I didn't realize it, but like after people started moaning, like saying things about it, it's because of the wood in the DLC Evo section. If you scale it real, like more, like more than double the size, it's like the invisible part like starts to affect it.
That's the thing, Otto. I think people don't want to change the Mantis. Like, it's a good bike. It's great for speedrunning. Lots of fun. No arguments there. I don't think anyone's really arguing about that. I think people just want a different bike, and the main change would be the center of gravity or the center of mass. That would fix a lot of things.
My main change would be the magnet. If they
You
got
see, the magnetic, I've got a feeling, and it's kind of sad, but I've got a feeling that the magnetic wheels, it's built, it's built into the actual like physics of the overall game, and not just bike sort of parameters. So
yeah,
I don't think that's an option to change. Maybe it is, but I can't. I don't know. However, a new bike with a different center of gravity would fix a lot of things. First of all, it would lessen the impact on the front wheel suspension, and it would fix the fap.
Even if they could implement that bike just to have it on track central track, so it wouldn't affect like the career.
Well, that's how it would be. Like, that's generally speaking, when they release new bikes, it doesn't just make them available for like old career tracks. I don't think that's ever happened in any Trials game, has it? Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think you can just hop on like the Panda or whatever on any track.
Like, there was a comment in the chat by the troll, and saying, to be honest, adding a new bike seems like a far better option than actually changing up the Mantis. And you know, I think this could be a good segue into talking about the upcoming DLC, because we know that there's going to be a couple of new bikes.
Can I just comment on what Zach said?
Yeah, go for it.
That might be true, but at the end of the day, would you rather have a shit bike forever just so that a couple of tracks aren't irrelevant? Or would you rather just have a couple of tracks that use an old bike? Because let's be honest, people can still play them with the old bike. It's not like...
Yeah, exactly.
If you've got a new bike, the two bikes, you can still get good with the Manta. It's like...
It's definitely not an excuse like a month into the game to be like, yeah, I don't want the month worth of tracks to be irrelevant, so the option is to basically just have a shit bike for the next 5 years. It's like,
I think having the variety.
I'd lose a month worth of tracks to get a better bike, if I'm honest.
The variety of having a ton of different bikes. We actually talked about this before. Lorcan was saying that. I think it's an excellent idea.
You know?
Like having different bikes is not going to put a huge dent on like what people are able to do. I think it'll actually increase the amount of types of techniques and maybe replayability, enjoyability in the game if they're able to have a bike that they do truly enjoy. And the helium is, like, for me personally, the helium is just ridiculous. I think there could be some really fun, like, that bike is, I think, more capable of doing front wheel back wheel stuff in this game. That bike is really bouncy. I think there could be some really funny stuff created with that. Climbing stuff is just, it's too powerful.
People have got something against the BMX for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but Like,
well,
I still like it,
the
but
idea of
I
using
wanted
that.
to comment on it because, well, I know, for example, with speedrunning, the Helium seems to be the optimal bike with a lot of tracks, and I think that's obviously a problem because why
I
is
don't
a
think it's a
pedal bike
problem.
faster than the Mantis, and it handles differently, so and the tracks aren't made for that bike to be the fastest on it, so
Yeah,
the
but
lines
is that a
completely
problem?
change.
Like,
The diamond medals become obsolete sometimes. The world records are
the world record is going to be with the best bike, so that's sort of.
well,
I
okay,
don't see it as a
that's
problem.
but also if you look at the Helium as the like proposed ninja bike for people to use and why people have a problem with that, it's because it has its own downsides.
That's the thing. The Mantis is still like people are saying like, oh, the Helium's the new ninja bike. It's not, because the Mantis is still better. The Helium can just climb and do like small hops and
Yeah,
shit.
exactly.
It doesn't have the speed that the Mantis has.
Mm.
The Mantis has still got a far bigger range of possible obstacles than the Helium does when it comes to ninjas.
Yeah.
So like
me,
the Helium's
like,
never going to be the ninja bike unless
the
you make a
pit.
track specifically for it.
What I don't get is the Pit Viper was the perfect bike in my opinion for trials.
It was really good.
It does, and because like in every game, it's always gone forward. The bike's always got better, 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 and now this time it's gone backwards.
That's the thing though. You can't like it. You can say like it's the best bike, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best possible bike. It's just the best bike that we've had, and maybe with
It did
Ryzen,
everything though.
they
It did
changed it to try and make it even
everything.
better, and it just backfired. You know, like
Did everything good. It did
yeah,
everything.
it
Like
did. It did.
even like everything with that bike. Like even the saves, doing saves was like really fun with it and everything. Like because getting rid of the front wheel has got like the front wheel suspension is eliminated. It's eliminated so many things. Like especially like saves, what you could do with the front wheel.
Let's make predictions on a new bike though. So are we gonna get
I
like
think they'll make a ninja bike. I think they're gonna cave.
are,
To be honest.
are we gonna have like a meme bike as well? Like one like have a unicorn
Well, two
and
Penny
then
two
one
bikes
legit
coming
one?
with the DLC are fun bikes. So
penny farthing. I want to see.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that. A unicycle? Who knows?
I wouldn't mind seeing a jet ski if I'm honest. Some water track.
A jet ski.
That'd be kind of cool if it actually like worked.
That would be.
Segway.
Jet ski would be pretty sick, to be honest.
We could do Hydro Thunder as like a
I
skill
wouldn't
game.
put it past them.
Jet ski.
What
ninjas
about
and
one of
shit,
them
dude.
clown bikes, smaller than the donkey, where it was like really,
Huh.
really small?
Or like the like the one that's got pedals.
Yeah.
A miniaturized
Mini
BMX.
Kids bike.
Oh, have
New
like
ninja
have
bike.
like one of those
Trike.
what's the one you'd get for your kids? It's like the really small like ATV,
Trike.
like the little motorized one for your
Oh,
kids.
the mini moped bikes, like yeah, I know what you're on about.
Oh, a
Alright,
moped.
then everyone state the two bikes that they think is going to come with the two DLCs, or with however they set it up. Go on, everyone make two guesses.
The Stallion from the Frontier. What is that one? Aris
I
said
don't
the
know what
Stallion.
bikes they could add. Like to be honest, like I don't really know. Like
Well, they
the
added a
penny
unicorn,
farthing.
so literally anything goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dragon's definitely a possibility. Bit of
Just
flying
fly.
action.
Yeah.
Well, they
What?
added an ATV, so they might add like a monster.
Monster truck.
A monster truck. I mean, people have created that already for some. Somebody made a pogo stick even for a level. You guys see that?
That track. Look, I've watched that on YouTube.
That track is
looks sick.
crazy. I can't believe that was a thing. That was awesome. What was that one called?
Yeah, that was really, really well made. It was like a big ball, wasn't it? And you smashed
Yeah.
cars.
Yeah, it was like a wrecking ball at the end of the pogo stick, and you'd hop around, and the physics were just so janky, but it was a lot of fun doing that.
What Darkseid said. What about if instead of a helicopter, it was Helicopter Man, and he just carried a helicopter
Oh,
and just like jumped over obstacles and shit? Now that would be good.
Yeah.
What if they just added a skateboard? Like
Yeah, I was gonna say a scooter.
Venice 360 and 1080.
Go up vertical walls on the skateboard.
There was another skill game with a skateboard, and you could do tricks on it.
yeah,
You could do kickflip and ollies and
That's
stuff.
a really well made skill game
Yeah,
as well.
that was really fun as well. But what I want to go back. What is the Stallion from Frontier? There's a couple people that said it in the chat. What kind of bike is that?
Could either be a horse or just the name of a regular bike. Those are my two guesses.
Okay. Yeah, because I never really got into Frontier at all.
The HP bike is stiff as the Mantis. Like the Mantis is like stiff as hell. Was it? It was Was the like the I never played it. Like I played it years ago, and I only what the bike felt like. So I was just wondering, is that bike more the Mantis more like the HD bike from back in the day?
I can't even remember what HD bike felt
The
like. I
HD
remember it
bike
feeling like
know it
was
really
heavy,
weird.
dude.
It looks
It's like a
stiff
tank.
as hell. Like
It's so heavy in
It's like
HD.
bouncy, like really bouncy off the tires.
Yeah, bouncy,
it
but
looked
also
hard.
heavy.
Like it looked dead hard. That's what it looked like to when I, I was watching like loads of videos ages ago. And, yeah, it just looked dead hard. So looking.
Yeah, Aris, I'll permit you for video.
Okay,
That we can
Doughnut.
share.
Apparently, the stallion was a horse bike that could jump with a button. Apparently,
It was a horse.
yeah, but you could jump with it. Apparently, that came from Cat though, so questionable source at best. But that's what he says
Yeah.
apparently. So
Aris said it.
Interesting.
There's a video.
Yeah,
oh,
that's a
right.
video of it.
Okay.
If you guys want to check out whatever that bike is. Next question about the DLC.
Oh, that's the bike.
I hope that they're gonna add
Such a good bike.
another ninja track. What do you guys think about another ninja track?
It wouldn't surprise
gonna be a
me.
thing?
I feel like a lot of people
would
have
surprise
passed, like
me.
white belt and stuff to
I
make
feel
it
like
viable.
they're gonna have. I feel like they're gonna have a ninja track with every DLC. In my
It would be
opinion.
nice.
That's
It won't be
my
hard
hope.
though. That's my.
Yeah, it's not going to be like black belt level, and it's certainly not going to be harder than black belt.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see like one of the first 3 difficulties.
Yeah.
Definitely level 1 or 2, because I reckon those tracks got quite a lot of passes.
To be honest, I want to see a track harder than black belt, but more consistent with the obstacles. I truly do. I want to see what they can.
I want to see what like the Frozen Sorrow remake.
Oh, I haven't even tried that. Toby came out with a remake for it, right?
If they do add a new ninja, is it going into the ninja like section, or is it just going to be a random track on the map?
Well, that's a good question.
Are they going to whack like brown belt in, or like red belt or something?
Yeah, well,
or is it going to be like an actual like themed track different to like the Japanese theme?
The thing is, like, if it's in its own section, so are the leaderboards going to be attached all together, like globally, or is it going to have its own leaderboards for DLC?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah,
I remember back.
What did they do for Fusion?
That people complained about that, because on Evo you could split the high scores separately between like everything and just the core game. And then on Fusion you couldn't do that. So
it was all together on Fusion with DLC, so people
Yeah.
would have to buy all the DLC. I mean, but if you were trying to, I guess it makes sense if like you were trying to be the top player, like you love the game that much, you're probably gonna get the DLC
if you're
anyways.
In the top 10,
right?
You're gonna have the DLC. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
but no, it's interesting. I think, personally, I think it should be a separate leaderboard. I think you should be able to split it up from the main.
Personally,
if there is a ninja track, it'll definitely add to the ninja score.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think the ninjas should have been separate from the actual speedrunning. Like, I know they're all combined.
Yeah, that's another thing that we talked about last time.
Speedrunning.
Yeah, that's
Hall of Fame is like everything combined. Ninja has its own section. The speedrunning section of the leaderboards doesn't include ninjas.
Oh, okay. But don't they show? But they won't show in like just say. And the world leaderboard, like GT4 is the top, and that's because of like all these ninja scores, well, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's a Hall of Fame. That's got nothing to do with speedrunning. That's like everything in the game combined.
But I think people are still annoyed that like.
Yeah, but the people who are annoyed are just the only reason they're annoyed is because.
Especially like
it's not the first leaderboard you see.
Yeah, exactly.
If I was a speedrunner and I had to play black belt, man, I would be highly like.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, why do speedrunners think that they have the right to be the ones that get separated and split off into yet another high score?
Because
like, what about skill game players?
The core game has always been like a speedrunning game, like the ninja game, the ninja part of it.
Yeah, it has, but the core game has also always included skill games, at least since HD.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'd like to talk about one skill game. Like, can I just say this? Wait, the hill climb, man, that's a disgrace, to be honest.
I was unimpressed with skill games in general in this game.
It was really boring.
Bad.
The skill climb
was boring.
The hill climb
is like a quick build.
It's the worst looking track in the game.
I can't believe how much it's like a kick in the teeth to Ice Climb that I was so disappointed.
The driving line is like generic and kind of boring and like the same all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Ice Climb is like well decorated and it has unique sort of obstacles. It definitely is a downgrade.
Like a circular object, a flat object, a circular object. That's all
all the way around.
Yeah, I don't want to get too into the skill games, but finish up your final thoughts for it, RJ.
I was just gonna say it's sad that the most fun I've had on a skill game is Rodeo.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. Rodeo isn't a bad skill game. It's just annoying that it's a main game skill game because it counts for score.
Mm-hmm.
It's just where you kind of forced to play it.
Mm-hmm.
But if that was on Track Central, like it would definitely be a fun little skill game to just mess about on. If you didn't have to grind it.
Yeah, we talked about skill games a lot last time. We've kind of shit on them quite a bit. I kind of want to change subjects about it because I know we can go on forever about the questionable types of skill games that we have. I wanted to go a little more on a positive note.
One more question about skill games.
Yes, one more thing.
DLC, will it have skill games?
Yes.
How many? One?
Maybe a couple?
I guess.
Do you know how many tracks were in the DLC?
What was it like for Fusion? I think it was one skill game for every new set.
Yeah, right? But these DLCs I think are a lot bigger than Trials Fusion.
Oh yeah, how many tracks? Yeah. How many tracks are we gonna have for the first DLC?
You have to fill in all the countries. So if they've only got 5 tracks, in how many countries?
That's the thing,
in not South America, there's about 15, isn't there? So.
Yeah, I thought I saw a picture of it, and for the first DLC, which one is it? Is it gonna be the
Route 66?
So that's not gonna be.
Is that right? Route 66?
That's not gonna be on the Southern Hemisphere yet. That's gonna be the second.
Nah, it's in America. It's through America.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Second DLC.
How many tracks do we think then? Have they announced that yet? I don't think they have.
55 plus and 2 DLCs.
Yeah, because the season pass contains they advertised it with 55 tracks, and you get the first 2 DLCs. So I think we'll see more than one skill game, if I'm honest.
Yeah, actually, definitely.
And I definitely think that's enough tracks to have at least 1 ninja per DLC. Maybe 2, if we're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Or unlucky.
Another quick question to bounce off of how many tracks we're gonna have. What's a spot that you guys want to see shown in the real world? What kind of environment should they have we don't already?
Madagascar should have a place, have a track.
See, I think the second DLC is gonna have some really fucking nice looking.
Should have one
tracks.
on the moon. Should have a track on the moon.
Yeah, that would actually be pretty cool, to be honest.
We have a low gravity ninja.
Not exactly sure where they put it on the old little map thing of that.
Yeah, that could be a skill game or something. Low gravity skill game or something.
Yeah.
Trip to the moon.
Yeah.
Maybe that's going to be one of the bikes, and then they'll open up a second world map on a different planet.
That's going to be the next. That's going to be the next trial.
Mars or something.
Planetary trials will be next, going around all the planets.
Trials Galaxy Tour.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they haven't had a. I think they need to have a Disneyland themed track. I don't think they've had any of that stuff yet. Any sort of roller coasters.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be copy and pasted straight out of Disneyland. It could be just roller coasters, whatever they could.
See, I think that is exactly what that one track is supposed to be themed after.
Oh. Yeah.
It's even set in Paris, which is where Disney is in Paris, isn't it? I don't remember what the track's called, but it's the one with the minecart roller.
Oh, the Link's World. Yeah, I guess that's it's got the roller coaster.
I'm pretty sure that is meant to be based in Euro Disney.
Does Australia have any tracks? Or maybe
no, it doesn't yet. It's gonna be in the second DLC for sure. It's gonna be on the Southern Hemisphere DLC. But
just good.
Oh yeah, go ahead, RJ.
I was just gonna say it's just gonna be Alan's Neighborhood as a track.
It'll be the camera. It'll be one of those tracks. What are they called that guy makes? I can't remember the name of them.
Burbs?
No, he's got a series of those horrific tracks, and he flips the camera on you and shit.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Something.
No idea.
Yeah, I don't know either. To be honest,
I'm sure it's got Macy in the name of the track. It's a big long series that's been running since Fusion.
Has it really got loads of animation in?
Nah, it's just like the most horrific driving line with like the most trolly obstacles, and then he like flips the fucking camera on you and shit, like halfway through a checkpoint. I remember watching Scott play. There was a one on Ryzen, definitely. Someone in chat will probably know. If Scott's still here, he'll know what it is.
But yeah, I feel like we could talk a little bit more on the positive side. Some of my favorite tracks.
All right, we're done. Next subject.
Next thing, I think I'm ready to move on to something else besides the DLC.
Positive.
Yeah, I got some positive energy to exude to everybody now. The top user created tracks, man, for like this first month that we've had the game.
Have you got the game on screen? Are you gonna show them on screen?
I don't have them on screen. I think RJ, can we try to have them pop up like in the middle of the boxes for the YouTube video, maybe?
Maybe.
Is that a possibility?
Maybe. We'll see.
Because
how easy that is.
There are some absolute bangers that have already been created, and most of them for me, of course, have been ninjas, but there are a couple of really standout ones recently. One of my favorite tracks, New York, created by Amorphous. This is probably one of the most well-decorated tracks I've ever seen in a Trials game. It's really wide landscape, showing a city. It looks like a tech noir type of Blade Runner feel. Driving lights, fantastic as well to try to speedrun on, but this is a track that I will go back to repeatedly because of how well it's decorated, and I think it runs on all consoles. I sure hope it does, pretty well, even on
you
original.
Played on PC?
Yeah, I played it on PC. I didn't play it on Xbox, my original Xbox yet. But yeah, have you guys played this? What do you guys think about this track?
I have not, but I kind of want to now that everyone's hyping it up.
Forget if I played it, but I definitely saw it, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's one of the best looking tracks I've ever seen.
It should be in the career, and yeah, just run through by everybody possible to speedrun it. It's so good. I know Amorphous has made a lot of other stuff, usually extreme tracks, I think, but it's anywhere between easy to extreme stuff. I don't know if he's much of a ninja builder. What's that?
Is he like a top quality builder from? Did he make them type of tracks, like high quality tracks in Fusion?
Yeah, I think he's an Evo builder, isn't he?
Yeah, he made some good stuff. Nothing quite to this caliber though. This one really surprised me.
He's definitely been building throughout the games. He's definitely a known name in the non-ninja sort of category of top tier builders, if that makes sense.
And having this type of track, I know this is one in a million to see this kind of track come out.
Not one in a million.
Well, maybe not that much, but maybe a couple thousand or so. But this is the type of track I would love to attempt to get diamonds on, and that's what I want to start with, are my favorite tracks to get diamonds on, to grind it out.
Before you start, does it have good medal times set?
It does. It actually does have really good medal times.
In a custom track,
yeah.
Someone puts enough time in.
That's another great point.
To actually set good medals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has
yeah, but making
pretty decent
a speedrunning track, I would definitely. I'm not too fussed on the ninja, but on a speedrunning track, I think it's especially if
if you want replayability on your track, then definitely put a bit of time into the medals. That's some good advice for any non-ninja builders.
Sure.
Especially if it's a high level build like that, if you put a lot of time into it.
It's that other step of motivation to be setting some actual goals for a specific track. That's the replayability and competitiveness that you can add to Track Central that can really expand it more.
A lot better than just giving away the diamond for free, like a lot of builders do.
Mm-hmm.
Just for passing the track. Next thing you know, you've got the diamond, and that's it. If you make a good diamond that's sort of on par with the career, then I think you've got some good life in the track for sure.
On to the next couple of tracks. Solstice and Precipice, or The Precipice by Zach.
Decent tracks.
Some pretty decent decoration on those. Zach created.
I think the second one is the better one.
I am personally a fan of the second one. It is definitely a good looking. I mean, it's a decent looking track. It's all right.
I like the first one. I like
Second
the panoramic view, like the landscape you can see. But I think the second one, it looks. I don't know if it's a lighting or something, but it looks really good. Like
Yeah, it looks alright.
Yeah, it's just fine.
It's decent.
What I
the
like
problem
about Zach tracks, if you look at like certain obstacles, they're always like arty types of designs, like weird like symbols and stuff like that. Like you always see that in his tracks. Does he build on PCs?
yeah,
Yes.
he's on PC. Yeah.
All right.
Smart move, really.
Now the problem.
Dedicated builder.
I love the second one. I love the Precipice. However, I couldn't play it on my original Xbox One.
Yeah,
it lagged
that
super hard.
Issue.
And this is one of the biggest problems and one of the biggest reasons why I switched over to PC. And I've talked about this before, that like there's a lot of lag issues on the original Xbox. I don't know if it's probably the same case with like if you have the OG PlayStation 4 trying it as well. But this is the main reason. Track Central is like the biggest thing for me. And even the career stuff wouldn't work on the original Xbox. So yeah, that was the main reason behind switching.
The concern for me about this game in general is the performance. Like Zach Track is not. It's not any more complex than anything that he's built in the past that has ran absolutely perfectly on old consoles. So it worries me that it lags on console.
Well, this game makes my PlayStation sound like a Hoover, like a vacuum. When I'm in the editor, Fusion, it was not nowhere near as bad as it is on Rising, but yeah, it's really loud. The fan is just working at max capacity.
Sorry for that big fucking.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, thanks for highlighting them and putting them in here. We can go.
It would annoy me though if like if I did make a track like Zach, put all that time and effort into it, and it was lagging on certain platforms.
Yeah, dude, it's such a bummer when that happens.
It's a big worry for the game going forward. Honestly,
because that would definitely put you off, like creating. Because I don't know how, like the complexity behind the editor as well. It's skewed. Like
the complexity bar doesn't necessarily mean that something's going to lag or not going to lag.
I think it is. Do you know one thing? It definitely makes it lag. If a lot of foliage is like next to each other, that makes the track 100% lag. Because I did it on Ruinous, just a quick build, but there was loads of foliage, and I deleted a shit ton of it, and it was still lagging. And it was because the grass is definitely like it's like mossy grass. That definitely makes tracks lag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's probably my biggest concern about the game. Going like they need. I don't know if it's possible or not. I hope that it is, but they need to improve the performance of the game. Like put all of the bugs and stuff aside that are obviously going to get fixed. The performance also really needs to improve. Otherwise, you're not going to sort of see tracks like that because no one's going to want to build them because they're only going to be playable on one platform. People are going to have to dumb down decoration and stuff just to get a playable track on like all platforms.
Yeah, and that shouldn't be the case. That's such a detriment to the game.
Shouldn't.
Isn't there a career track that's really laggy?
Yeah.
Lots of them are on the original.
Yeah.
There's a few in particular that have some really bad lag.
UK Up is probably
the
worst.
Not UK Up, it's UK Upper.
Or Upper, sorry. Yeah, the hard version.
Actually not too bad. And Nippon Springs and the deserty Supercross tracks, I don't remember what they're called, but they're the ones that are like in the desert. And there's a few others that have sort of like less than ideal performance, but nothing like horrific.
How about Frozen Tibet? Does that work for everybody on consoles? Frozen Tibet.
Is that an in-game track?
No, Frozen Tibet was the one that iModi made. This one felt like it was a Red Lynx Ninja. This one was so well done.
I really like that track.
This was so good. And I'm hoping that this is another one that's playable on all consoles.
I think it probably will be.
I think it's got a lot of people on the leaderboard, so I would assume it's like a ninja, like 1 to 2, maybe a harder one. I don't really know exactly. It felt like yellow belt kind of difficulty. but really good decoration. It has that same vibe, the same you know, Japanese, like Oriental type of look. A lot of the buildings used from the career ninjas. I don't remember, Madi, if you're in the chat now, just giving a shout out to you. But like, I don't remember any other tracks. Oh, there you are. That you made for like fusion and stuff. Is this? I thought you were a pretty recent builder. Like, dude, keep this work
He
up.
built another good
It's
one
so good.
on Ryzen. Can't remember what it's called. Fun something. Oh, it had fun in the name. I'm pretty sure. It was another good track.
Awesome.
Front wheel.
Yeah, we gotta have
Definitely
more builders for sure. And yeah, hopefully these bugs are fixed for like all consoles and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a bug, but like the ninja category does seem quite dead. Like I don't know if it's because of the bug and they're all going into.
Yeah, I think
People have been
because
marking
no
it as
one's
extreme.
actually, like,
Yeah,
no one's actually releasing tracks as ninja really at the moment.
because the leaderboards get screwed up, I think, when you mark it as a ninja.
No, it's not even that. Like the category, like ninja, like if it's not even like if it's just a normal trials track, it's not about like the difficulty.
Yeah, I think it still messes up if it's normal trials with ninja difficulty.
No, it doesn't. I every one of my tracks go in the ninja category, like.
Oh.
But if you don't save as new, it puts it to easy for some reason.
Yeah, they get marked in easy.
So
I guess people probably don't know about that. It's not, like I didn't know about that until you guys were talking about it earlier.
Yeah, so if you go into the easy category, I bet you there's a lot of ninjas in there. There's a lot of ninja tracks in that category.
But
it's a shame as well because they've probably lost.
Dude, Madi, you're gonna be the next up and coming like big builder.
Yeah,
I see it.
Definitely got high hopes for big
Madi's definitely up there. It's like one of my bigger big looks coming out.
Definitely want to watch.
I'm gonna keep going down the line. Just a heavy snow. Rocky Cat made this one, so I finally passed this track. Had a beastie time on it. For my first pass, I struggled. I think I timed out like a couple times on the last CP, and I timed out once in the middle, and then like a bunch of restarts in the middle. But this is a great level 5, I think, to try to start off with like technical climbing aspect. This is the perfect challenge for me, getting kind of into the Ninja 5s for this game. And the decoration, it's fine. I think the decoration is simple. It keeps it.
Like you're gonna say something good then, and you're like, it's fine.
It's fine. He keeps it simple, which I like. And there's like, you know, a lot of particles of the snow flying about. I think it looks really good that way. There's not a whole lot because the track is based like, you know, in these mountains where it's really snowy. There's not a whole lot to really show in that kind of environment, which makes complete sense. And the track runs superbly, so that's the most important part to me. Just a perfect driving line, really all around good climbing, technical stuff. If you guys are trying to get into Ninja 5s for the first time, that's a top pick for sure. Next one, Sensei Mantis, really good one by Mr. CavemanDave himself in here. Really long driving line. This felt like it progressively. Actually, it felt pretty consistent. I thought it got a little bit harder near the end of the track. It felt like maybe an ascension type almost. But
that was gonna be part of a 50 CP track, but like because I like the first part. That was, you know, that other 20 CP track you played, the back wheel, front wheel one.
You're gonna add that in altogether?
That was like, yeah, that was 40 checkpoints he had, but I just scrapped it because I like the Sensei Mantis. Like the hill climb, I thought that was like the better part of it.
Yeah, that's a really solid hill climb. Pretty long track. I think it was. What would you say, like a level 3 ninja? I think.
Yeah, it's like level 3.
Probably level 3. It's like not quite. You know, it's simple decoration, not like Congo, but it's like the same length. I would say, like that kind of climb going on with it.
Yeah, Hook got a nice run on it.
Yeah, he got that 0 fault for that one and a couple others. I think he shared a Ray on replay.
Like my type of balls, like it's like a simplistic looking track, but it's more for the driving line than anything.
Yeah, No, I'm always up for that, and I'll definitely come back to that because there's a lot of people that have played it. I think there's a lot of competitive times on it.
Sensei Mantis Batwheel, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, make a backward version.
I don't think I would with this game.
On to the next
Try
one,
it.
the Peak, by Real 7. I was really anticipating this track. He showed it on Twitter, and I was like, oh my gosh, decoration on this looks awesome. It's got a really eerie look. It's really good climb track. It requires some pretty precise throttle on it, and the only problem I have is I can't get on the leaderboards unless I get a 0 fault, which is too bad, I think.
I don't see a problem.
I don't see a problem with that. Of course, RJ, you don't, because you do that in your sleep. You do that blindfolded.
How many people? I think Zach and Seven they're the only two who got 0 faults.
The last time I checked, yeah, I think so. I got really close. I got to the last checkpoint on 3 faults, and I screwed up the climb like a dozen times.
Yeah, you shouldn't like the ninja thing bugs out the leaderboards, doesn't it? So,
Yeah.
track so you can see the leaderboard.
Something. Have you talked about that in previous podcasts about like cheating and stuff?
Like the leaderboards getting all glitched out runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. In the last one with Oso. And
it makes you wonder though, like in a game that records replays and stores them on a server, why they don't use that to their advantage to check legitimacy of scores. Like one of the advantages of recording replays is that you can use them to validate scores quite easily.
mm-hmm.
So it makes you wonder why they haven't done that since they record the replays anyway.
Well, I hope that'll be a big patch for this DLC / update that they have. That'll probably be a big one. Getting all the leaderboards sorted out correctly.
That's the thing. The leaderboard fix doesn't require any patch.
Yeah, exactly.
It's purely server based. All they would do is just hop in the server, delete the times. It's just allocating the manpower to actually do it, which they don't seem to do.
Do you know the helium run? There was a helium run on a track, but Scott uploaded it, and people were saying it had like a boost. Was that like it? Was he cheating or was it legit that run? Like I didn't understand why he uploaded the video.
Scott uploaded it.
He uploaded, said this is not this shouldn't happen. Red links or
this
something.
This is not okay.
And it was a BMX run. I thought.
Oh, I think this is. He's just making note of the fact that I was saying this earlier. Helium is becoming the optimal bike on most tracks, or not most tracks, most extremes, and then some like medium tracks are like the fastest time you can get is with the helium.
So with that, has the helium actually taken over anything that isn't extreme?
Yeah, Frozen Fjord is one.
What's Frozen Fjord?
It's
yeah, I know.
One or two of the Bali tracks.
There's
a couple more. There's like a beginner track I think that Helium has as well.
Nah, there's only 2 beginner tracks in the game. And
oh man,
definitely
easy
not
then.
Helium.
Easy then.
Junior had a question asking how we would feel if they had to reset all the leaderboards in order to fix things. I don't think they have to reset them
that's
at
not
all.
Why. They wouldn't have to
I think, but no, there was one problem on, was it a skill game that like everybody.
Yeah, there was fake scores from like an overlapping driving line or something.
Yeah, there's something up with one of the skill games I think that needed to be like completely reset. That'd be the only one.
It wouldn't need to be completely reset, but there was probably so many fake times that it would be. They wouldn't necessarily want to manually go through and delete them individually until they found the first legitimate time.
Yeah, but they can just delete times individually, Junior, from the server. This is kind of the thing.
One thing that I have heard is that Red Links don't have access to, well, they must have access to the servers, but they don't control the servers. Apparently that's done by Ubisoft, so I guess it might be on them to care about glitch times or not.
Is that how they deleted the glitch times in like Fusion when you could like when the FMX moves like one of them made you like get a bit more distance on flips, didn't it? Doing like a certain, and it was like glitch runs and speed running. I forgot the name of it. Like
the coffin glitch.
Yeah, the coffin. That was a like would deleted them the same way.
Hey,
That
what's
wasn't
up,
really a
Vanty?
glitch. That was just a big oversight in how FMX works. But yeah, I think that they did just individually remove goals for that. I don't. Maybe they wiped the entire leaderboards, but I don't think they did.
I want to quickly shout out some of the remaining tracks really quick. Tuvine has made some really good stuff. I think my favorite one that Tuvine made was Frost. That felt like a really interesting technical type of Ninja 4 track. Weird obstacles on it.
He just made a new one, didn't he? That
which
Base
one?
9 or something.
Oh, he made
Base
Sector 9.
9.
Yeah, Sector 9 was
Sector
really
9,
cool too. Tuvine, I think, has been a builder for quite some time on Fusion. I remember
he just appeared on Fusion, like it was weird. Like I didn't ever that guy, and then he just popped out of the blue.
Yeah, he's been popping off. Tuvine's definitely had some really good stuff on Fusion, and it's transferred over to Rising.
I've never seen him on the leaderboards of any ninja. Like that's what I mean. Like, and then he started building this like relatively hard stuff. I'm sure, like, he might have had a different gamer tag. I don't know. Maybe he did and changed.
No, I think he's been known as Tuvine. If Tuvine, you're in here,
did he play
shout
in
outs
Evo?
to you. I don't know. I think he was pretty. No, I remember talking to him in my stream, and he was saying that he started up on like the Trials Ninjas like in 2017. I think around the same time I did. But he was more along the building aspect of things. But another up and coming builder. I think I could see some other big things coming out of Tuvine.
Definitely some good things coming from him.
Yeah, so definitely favorite his tracks. They're pretty tough ninja levels. If you're not in that ninja level 3 to 4 range, they might be a bit tough for you. But work your way up to them because they are a sight to behold. Really interesting, really tough obstacles. I think to hit consistently. It'd be fun to see some zero fault runs done on his tracks. Next one, Sliders. Number 3 by Champy. You know, he's keeping the saga alive with this one, and I had
not just Sliders though. He's got a couple of good ones.
Yeah, and he's got easier tracks as well. Champy's been a very integral part.
How old is Champy? Is he an older guy or is he quite young?
He's like in his 20s, I think. Am I right in thinking that?
Yeah, I feel like that would make sense.
Yeah,
25 maybe.
Champy's been around the block. Has Champy been around since Evo?
I think so.
I think Champy's been around for a long time, and he's made a pretty wide range of stuff. He has a lot of extreme tracks. He's come up with like level 3s and 4s. I think I see a lot of from him. Sliders is one of my all-time favorite series. I usually don't like slide tracks, but damn, like he got me into them.
Never. Yeah, slide tracks are like a no-go for me.
Did Champy make?
You can slide easier with this bike though. I've noticed that.
Did he make shiver slides on Fusion? I think that was his.
Maybe like a level 3.
Yeah, level 3 kind of slide track. Really good.
I'm not sure. Might as well look it up.
Easier sliding in Ryzen is also.
Hey, Night Deathbat, thanks for joining us, man.
Center of mass.
Muscles made it. That's who.
Muscles, yeah. That's right.
So that's like one of his last tracks in Fusion, I feel like.
I've not seen Nugget around. That's a bit weird. Nugget would be back here.
I think he's playing. Or I think I've heard from him once.
I've seen him make impossible stairs, and that's it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I remember that when the game
used to come out like he had a load of tracks like
like
most I've ever seen.
Pages of tracks or something.
I heard that Muscles was known for building tracks insanely quickly, and he actually had streams where he would just build like an entire track within one stream.
Yo, where's Muscles at? Like, he came back so briefly at the end.
He had a track. He had a track
in
Rising.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
Yeah, he's got confused.
Track,
Yeah, he's got confused muscles as his name. He's built I think it was an extreme track on Rising already. But anyways, yeah, I saw him. So hopefully he's still enjoying building and staying around the game, because that guy is another top builder that helped me progress through ninjas a lot in Fusion. I played a lot of his stuff.
He made one of my favorite tracks, favorite looking tracks. What was it? Breaking Point.
Breaking Point is a very good track.
Couldn't build it in Rising though, too much lag.
Yeah, it's a shame. They need to do something about that. That's quite a big issue for me.
A couple more level 4 tracks that I really enjoyed. Fatal, Podwop. There was just one CP.
That's a really good track. I'm just gonna put that out there. That's like a really fun track.
Yeah, definitely try out Fatal.
I only got a CP5 and then I accidentally reset, so I rage quit. But it was really good.
There was one really annoying checkpoint, which is okay, but I'll just throw that out there. There's one checkpoint I think near like the third or second to last that really got me. Got my booty tickled hard, but Fatal, yeah, that's a good one for another level 4 like technical track, I'd say. It's got the desert wasteland decorations, superb, on point, and then Fukin Mina, or Fook, Alex Fook.
He's another builder to watch out for
Yep.
sure.
He's created some really good stuff.
The end of Fusion, and he built some good stuff.
Yeah, and we talked a lot about his speedrun god series, or the speedrun god pro goat. Really interesting idea. It's like right at the end of the Fusion life cycle too. That amazed me even more, that we'd come out with a new type of track right before the new game. But yeah, he created a backwheel track recently. I think it's called Battaglia, and the backwheel, I think it works on this one. The backwheel climbing felt a lot more natural. Now the ramps weren't as like angled or as steep, I should say, so it was a lot more easier to like keep the front wheel really far away from it, so it didn't like magnetize to the wall. But that was, I think, one of my favorites recently that Mr. Fook has made.
I'd like to say another track, Baron by Slick.
I wish I could play it.
It looks. I don't know how it plays, but it looks really good.
It looks good.
Like the aesthetics of it look real nice.
It's like the quintessential Slick look to it.
Mm-hmm.
The line is very questionable.
Didn't he say that he based the decoration off of Incendiary? Kinda.
Yeah, I think he did, and definitely that's the vibe you get from the track if you played Incendiary, or maybe if you've seen it as well.
There was a really wacky checkpoint in it. I don't know if it was like checkpoint, but and all like GT4, the madman.
He passed the 4. He did, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I watched the track.
I still got to do that. I haven't played the full.
So that one's a level 7 for sure.
Yeah, according to GT4, which probably means it is.
I would imagine so. I mean, I've seen like people like Scott like struggling on the extras, and yeah, I don't think you would struggle on checkpoint 6. I mean, on a level 6, even on Horizon.
I got a question for RJ. How'd you like? Did you play through Scorn? You got that one right.
Wait, what?
Through Scorn.
Slick's track. I enjoyed that track a lot. Actually, I went for a good score, but didn't really get it because it's quite an unbalanced track. So if you don't like unbalanced tracks, you will hate that track, because the first couple CPs are really easy. Yeah, I think it's 5. The break bounce one with the slide at the end.
Yeah, I remember watching you on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that CP's ridiculous in this game.
Anybody else got some shout outs for tracks? That was my list that I wrote down the other day.
That what was that easy track? It was like a combat. It was like a jet pilot.
Oh, the Ace Combat. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a good skill game.
Oh, that would look sick.
That's wild how people do that.
I really enjoy playing skill games in trials.
That I mentioned that one again, the pogo stick one. See,
the pogo stick.
Really
we have to figure out what the name of that one is because everybody has to try that and just see how awkward it is trying to maneuver that
it was on
thing.
YouTube. I forgot which channel I watched it on. I think it might have been Infamous Shot. If you know that guy.
He put in Hella Sick is a good track, but super hard, Dave.
He said that?
Yeah, Key was saying that.
Oh yeah, that's a full retard track.
Key, did you beat the plus CPs for that one yet? Have you tried the full version?
I think Huck was trying it last night, but he asked me about the first checkpoint and then he never got back. So,
Junior, that's a great question. Do we still visit Fusion or is it old news now?
A lot of people still play Fusion.
I might go back to it, but for the time being, 5 years I played. Well, nearly 5 years. It's like I'm enjoying building on this game.
That's the thing. Like a lot of people on a lot of people stopped playing Fusion and then only really got back into it because of the build up to Horizon.
Yeah.
So I think most people realistically were probably done with it by the time Horizon came out.
I'm definitely gonna go back.
I think what put a cap on it for me was like that tournament at the end. It was
you cut out there, Dave, a little bit.
Oh, the tournament at the end is what like put the icing on the cake for me with Fusion.
Mm-hmm.
Like the farewell tournament.
Finish off on a high sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be going. Like, I'm not done with Fusion. I honestly would like to go back to Evo and play that sometime too. But for now, I'm really invested in Rising and trying to build stuff as well as like I'm doing a little speedrunning here and there, but mostly checking out Track Central to see like what's new every day and going back to some of my favorites and trying to get really good runs. Is kind of my rotation. I'm trying to rotate it around 3 different ways. My spare time, I want to be able to build. I don't really want to stream building quite yet, but I hopefully will get to that point where we can just have like a really chill session. I can build some weird stuff.
I do like watching building streams.
You should try and beat Humdrum, Doughnut.
Humdrum.
I think that's your type of track.
I tried some of the plus CPs, man, and that second one was wild. And
I might release the checkpoints because there was some wacky.
It was wacky. You got some really crazy obstacles on that one. And Junior, to answer the question about the plus CPs, it is extra checkpoints that are laced throughout the track. So like you have one full checkpoint. Yeah, you have like one full checkpoint, and it's got like 3 different obstacles, say, like to beat that checkpoint. You might put an extra CP in between that full version to.
It's basically to split it in half.
Yeah.
Every checkpoint. That's what I try and do.
That's what you try to do the most.
You don't actually add extra checkpoints to the track.
Yeah.
That might be what people think.
It's a way to practice, basically, Junior. It's a better way to get down. Like if you're struggling on the end of a checkpoint, it'd be good to like just go into the editor and practice at one checkpoint. That's what the plus CPs are there for, to help you practice.
Yeah, and uploading the checkpoints as well. So it's like you don't have to upload 7 checkpoints in the track. You can just upload the plus CP version and the normal track.
I mean, they're kind of different things, though. I think, in my opinion, a plus CP and a like individual CPs, I think they're used kind of differently. Plus CPs is more like for getting used to the full track before you attempt the full one, whereas plus CPs is like for actually specifically.
Not always though. Like obstacles. I will play like a PV beat the full track. Like,
also, plus CPs are good for people who just aren't good enough to play the full version, but like they can treat it as like an actual, just a standalone track sort of thing.
Yeah,
and it's just fun to play for like lower level players.
Absolutely. Let's see, Jitters. He wants me to talk about the bomb battlefield. I guess this would be this is a good time to start maybe concluding it. I wanted to talk about what happened with the Reddit clip a little bit. So for people that don't know, Bomb Battlefield it's this really trolly track. It has
Who created it?
I don't even remember who created it. It's this track that's comprised of bombs that you can go on top of really slowly. It's really sensitive. It's like, pressure based. Like if you go too fast, you're gonna blow up the bombs. You have to go really slowly throughout it on the top path. Now, I found out after watching a replay, I was like, there's no way that somebody can legitimately pass this track. I spent 30 minutes on my first run. I timed out on the last checkpoint of this troll track. I look up the replay and it says 22 seconds. So no way, this isn't possible. It is possible. There is an event at the start of the track. If you go and you roll over the second bomb and go backwards, you can push over this pillar and go on a hidden pathway. And this clip blew up because I was laughing hysterically, and people were associating it to Ready Player One, and there was a huge conversation about Ready Player One that was like included with that track. I don't know how many views it ended up getting now. I know that it has like almost 5,000 upvotes, I think, on Reddit at this point over the past like couple days. Just a really wild. I'm so thankful to whoever posted that on Reddit. Their Reddit username was like, "I have a boob fetish," and I have no idea what that Twitch username, who that could be. It's a different alias that they're using, but big shout out to them for posting that because I never use Reddit. It gave me a little exposure, and I hope to play a lot more trolley tracks and have even more reactions like that. But that one threw me for an absolute loop. I love seeing that kind of stuff in Track Central, and I've played a lot of other, like my favorite other trolley tracks gotta be like Wave Your Face and Factory of a Dog. Those are some of the classics on Fusion that I really enjoyed. Where there's like invisible hitboxes. There's stuff that like you gotta be really patient on. You gotta go really slowly on, and then sometimes there's like these alternative paths that I don't know. Just it opens up your perspective on like what can be done in games, and I love that stuff. Anybody else have any concluding thoughts maybe about like Reddit in general, or like really funny stuff that they've had happen on Rising so far?
Yeah, I don't really use Reddit, so I've literally never. I've been on the website maybe once or twice.
I use it occasionally, but nothing spectacular comes from it usually, like that.
Yeah, I didn't expect. It's like a minute-long clip of me like just watching the replay and just laughing hysterically and just making a fool out of myself, and it was front and center.
Actually, I've got one video. If you go on Kunta Kinta's, there's me and him. We were playing a multiplayer game, and we fit of laughter.
Oh, did you guys play Sky Machine? That was another one I was thinking of.
No.
That's a pretty memey track too. That's pretty funny. Well, Toy Ninja. Which one's that? Dark Side. Was that on Fusion? I think that was on Fusion. I remember there was some really trolly stuff. Like it looked like the same decoration as Child's Play, where you were shrunk down and you're in a room, and it had like all these weird like toy obstacles that you'd have to like a lot of physics based type of stuff. I do remember that one. Yeah. Good stuff though. That moment, that clip was probably one of the funniest moments I've had in Trials history. There it is. That's a clip. It has 153,000 views now, which is fucking insane.
When I saw it, like I'm sure it was just yesterday or something that I looked at it and it was on like 20K.
Yeah, dude. I can't believe it blew up that much. I'm sure we've all had situations like this. I think taking advantage of like these really funny moments and sharing them, I guess, on Reddit is like a really good forum for this kind of stuff, for especially fails such as this. We've all had plenty of moments like this, and I think we can all really expand upon really funny trolley tracks that way. That's what I like. I know not everybody's a big fan of that, but it's another aspect to the game that people should know about, I think.
There's a funny video on Conte Kinta's channel. You should go and check it out of me and him. A couple of years ago on a multiplayer track. It was
You should
really.
post it to the Discord or post it to Reddit.
Oh
Or
man, it's on
something.
his channel, like, but I don't know how to do that.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just me and him, like, going to a fit of laughter.
Those moments, like, it's so fun to share.
He
So
talks about like holding in a shit or something, or
oh my
pissing.
god.
It's a funny video.
Oh man, you guys. But any other
I found it.
Any other questions? That's Dave, do you have anything else for us? RJ? Anybody? I feel like we should start wrapping this one up. It's been going for a little over an hour now, for sure.
Well, people, I've got a few. Like, I've got one thing, like Trials Fusion, like with Ninja Level 8, and that, like with this game, like, do you feel like the game is ever gonna, like, do you think Fusion will be like the skill cap? Is like, oh, what am I trying to say? Is Fusion like gonna be the game where you can push your limits the most on Trials? Because in the future, if the game's gone backwards here, like, are they gonna stay with the magnetic wheels for the next game and stick with this?
I think that's like two different questions. Like difficult, like even if the game is technically, like even if the bike's like technically less capable, like you can still achieve an equivalent difficulty to what like a level 8 would be in Fusion.
Yeah.
Difficulty is not really.
It'll feel as hard, but
yeah,
it won't
that's like
look
difficulty
as hard.
Isn't,
type
yeah,
thing.
exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like the bike isn't really a factor in difficulty. Like anything can be difficult. You could make like a baggy ninja or something, and make it like a level 8 difficulty if you really wanted.
Yeah, that's what another thing I was thinking. Like, what I don't get is like they embraced the ninjas in Trials Rising, but like they made the bike. Like, if you give this bike to like an amateur player, they're gonna struggle with it more than the Pit Viper. So like they embraced the ninjas, and like in doing so, they made it.
The sad irony.
Yeah,
I'm
like
not gonna say it fully what I actually want to say. Just
it's a bit weird. Like, it was just a thing I was thinking of. Like, because if you give a ninja level player one the Pit Viper and the Mantis, even I'm struggling with the Mantis and like on quite a few things. Like, but yeah, it's just a harder bike to play with.
Fair enough, man. I think we're gonna conclude it with that. Sound good? Everybody happy? Cat's back?
yeah.
Yeah.
Cat's back.
Cat's back
Good
in?
time to end it when Cat comes
Good
back.
time to end it. No, just kidding. Cat, I'll talk to you more later about that.
I'm not kidding.
Thank you all for joining us, you guys. Dave, thanks for coming on. Cab, thanks for filling in for Plop. Next week, we're definitely going to have Cab, hopefully, on camera with us.
Potentially.
Yeah. And RJ, thanks for being with me throughout.
Always.